Alrighty y'all, so today we're going to do a video about chickens. This is probably one of the most asked questions that I get via email and different things. There is like a bajillion types of chickens. So in this video, we're gonna go over different kinds of chickens, different classes of chickens to find out what chicken would be right for you and your family so that when you all go to make your own backyard flocks, you can have an educated decision on what kind of birds will fit you guys best. So this beautiful lady right here is a black copper Moran. So she is which they're technically a French breed. Like if you see them advertised, sometimes you'll see French black copper Morans. These girls are a heritage breed. So that brings us to our first topic of chickens, and that is what classification of chicken would fit y'all's back or farmstead or homestead the best. So there's different kinds. There's heritage breeds. There is dual purpose breeds, which means they're for meat and for eggs. There's high production layers. There's meat birds. And then you have like your colored layers, which is what I love. So we're gonna go into each of those things. So a heritage breed is a breed that hasn't really been modified tremendously over time for much. So a black copper Moran is actually a dual purpose breed also. They were used for eggs and for meat. Y'all heard the phrase, tastes like chicken? Well, you gotta get chicken from somewhere. So in the olden times when people had chickens, they used them for both meat and for eggs. So that's what a lot of these heritage birds are really were used for. So they're basically less modified, less genetically changed, and they're more like to the way that they have always been. I guess that's not a very good statement. They've just been kind of not been changed a whole lot. Now, you get a high production chicken. So a lot of hatcheries have like a lot of random like hybrid birds. So you can have like Isa Browns, you can have like a black sex link bird that are high production egg layers. And what that means is they're gonna lay eggs all the time. However, on the flip side of that, a hen only has so many eggs that she can lay in her lifetime. This is one thing that chickens do a lot of. You know, they poop everywhere. They can only lay so many eggs in their lifetime. So if you have a high production bird that lays an exorbitant amount of eggs, that hen is going to be spent sooner than a heritage breed that may only give you, I don't know, 3 or 4 eggs a week, whereas a high production layer is going to give you an egg literally every single day, and some of them even lay through the winter. So keep that in mind. A lot of heritage breeds will not lay in the winter time. They go through a molt and they will not be producing a lot of eggs over the winter. So you have a dual purpose, you have heritage, you have high production egg layers, and now you get into your meat birds, okay? So if you go to TSC or Rural King or any farm supply and you see these cute little yellow fluffy chicks called Cornish crosses, and you think you're gonna buy those for egg production, in about 5 weeks you're gonna be sorely mistaken, because those things are gonna grow exponentially because they are a meat bird. They're a very fast growing meat bird. So those chickens will probably, they very rarely get old enough to lay eggs because they grow so fast. I've heard instances of they can grow so fast that they will physically break their legs. Their bone structure can't keep up with how fast the chickens grow. So don't make that mistake and buy a bunch of Cornish crosses if you want eggs. And the last category of chickens that I'm going to talk about is novelty chickens, okay? You have your novelties, you have like your silkies, you have your little bantams, your seramas. I can't speak today. Okay, you're being so nice. Okay, we're making her mad. You get like different plumages, you get the Polish with the huge tops, which we'll attach a photo here to show you what that chicken looks like. But you get like, you know, birds that are just so like crazy feathers, crazy sizes, like itty bitty birds, and different things like that. So those are what I would consider a novelty bird, okay? And I have one kind of novelty bird, which I will show you in just a second. Another thing to think about is temperament, because not all chickens are kind and calm. I used to own white leghorns, and you want to talk about a chicken that was probably on crack, it was that one. I don't know if I can say that on the internet, but those things, like, you just walk in and look at it funny, and they'd fly and be insane. So temperament, you definitely, like, if you have a family, the more docile birds. My Marins are the sweetest birds, as you can tell. She just, like, loves, like, attention. She's so calm and chill. So definitely think about that too, is temperament, because not all birds are created equal in that department, that's for sure. All right, I have our next bird that we're going to talk about. This is easily my craziest bird that I own, so let's go talk about her. All right, when I say novelty, this is what I mean. This is a frizzle pullet. You see how her feathers are all going crazy? This chicken absolutely, she will lay colored eggs, but she is very ornamental. She is like, I wanted my personal pine cone chicken, which is why I hatched eggs to get said pine cone chicken. Her plumage will change as she gets older. She's very young. She is like, I don't know, I want to say 10 weeks. So I literally hatched her from a friend of mine, Miss Amber, with End of the Meadows. She has a little pen of like frizzle just for ornamental, but she'll like lay like a blue-green egg. So I'm really excited. But this is what I mean about ornamental. They like have absolutely very little purpose other than they're just cool looking. Like the same with, like, sorry for the silky people. Silkies are very cool looking. They're not going to be a super high production egg laying breed to feed your family or multiple families, or if you want to sell eggs at like a farm stand. So sorry to the silky people, but that's just not quite what they were bred for. Now, if you want a cuddle puddle chicken to sit and hold and love on, silkies would be for you. So anyways, this girl is a frizzle. But let's talk about stages of chickens. Like if you're in the market for buying birds for your home or homestead or farmstead, what are your options? Okay, so one option is buying hens that are already laying. Like go to a local farmer and say, hey, I want to buy 5 hens or I want to buy 10 hens. So for reference, hens lay 1 egg a day. So if you have like a family of 4 and y'all eat a bunch of eggs, 3 chickens is probably not going to be enough for you. So you're going to want to get enough chickens for what you use. And you can always sell farm fresh eggs too. People love to buy them. So that's one thing to think about when you're buying a bird. So the pros to buying an already laying hen: instant breakfast, right? You have a bird that's already laying. You don't have to have the waiting game to let it mature to lay eggs. They usually take about, I don't know, anywhere from 18. Some of the high production birds will start laying at 16 weeks, but usually like 20-ish weeks is what you're looking at for eggs. So she's probably halfway there. So buying a full-size bird, instant eggs, but the problem is a lot of times you don't know how old that bird is, okay? So that bird may have already been laying for a couple of years and doesn't have a lot of time left in that department. So you have to think about like longevity too. If you're like constantly want to roll over chickens, then just keep buying birds, and as they stop laying, you know, you can crock pot, or you can sell, or you can keep as pets. I mean, there's nothing wrong with keeping an older hen. I have a couple older hens that I have never sold. They are old. They are probably 6-ish years old now. They're some of my original girls. But you know, think of that. The other option you can do is buy pullets, like already started hen chicks, female chicks that are going to lay you eggs eventually. So like buying a pullet, you would purchase a chicken around this age, and you would continue growing them out until they started laying. Some of the pros with that is you know exactly how old they are, right? I know how old she is. I know when she hatched. You could grow them out and lay eggs and have them for quite some time. Like they would, you know, lay for you for a long time. The problem is it's not instant eggs, and you still have that grow out process and different things like that. And some people just don't want to do that. So those are 2 options for you. I got a 3rd and a 4th. So these are probably, you know, we can talk about buying tiny chicks, and we can talk about hatching eggs. So let's talk about both of those things and the pros and cons of those also. So what you can see is obviously the younger the chicken, the more scared they are. So these babies are a week old. So we're going to talk about chicks. I'm going to sit down so I can keep them all together. So these babies are about a week old. And let's talk about chicks. So if you go to your farm store, you hear this sound, you probably hear this walking through the store, right? During chick days or in the spring, or at my Rural King, they have chicks all the time. So these chicks, like, you can get a lot of different breeds by getting chicks, okay? So like this is a well summer, these are olive eggers, they're crosses that I've done. So you can get a lot of, like, if there's a particular breed you're really wanting, sometimes it's easier to buy them as chicks. Now, I'm going to say this for everybody out there, and anybody that's owned chickens should know that if you're buying chicks and you want 6 chicks or 6 chickens, buy like 8 chicks, okay? Chicks, for some reason, sometimes they just, kill over one day, right? And you're 1 chicken left or whatever left. And I mean, honestly, what is up with everybody pooping on my picnic table? So, I mean, the thing with chicks is don't beat yourself up if one of them, like, falls over and croaks on you, okay? Chicks are sometimes not the most hardy creatures on the planet, but they are a great way to get a lot of variety in breeds and get a lot of, the same kind. So there's 2 types of birds. You can have them sexed pullets, which means that they're going to be hens, and that's mostly from a hatchery. And then if you see the word straight run on the chicks, this is what it means. It means that they are, Stella ran over here because she heard the chirping. Cats love chicks, by the way. I will just let everybody know that. If you see the word straight run on the card, that means that they are a mix of both roosters and pullets, and that you will get roosters, okay? So if you're there and you're wanting hens, then make sure you get the ones that are sexed for being a pullet, okay? So that's the biggest thing with that. Or if you're ordering off of a website or whatever, if you see straight run, just know you can get roosters. So chicks are a great option if you're wanting like an abundance of one kind of breed, and you want to grow them out. You want that experience of raising chicks, great. So the step down from these guys is hatching eggs, okay? And that means incubating eggs via an incubator or a broody hen, and basically going through the hatching process yourself instead of having a hatchery do it or a breeder do it. And sometimes, honestly, the only way to get certain breeds of chicks or chickens is by buying chicks or by buying hatching eggs. So if you really get into chickens and there's something really rare that you want, or a particular breed or line that you're wanting, hatching eggs and chicks are going to be basically some of the only ways to get some of those birds. So keep that in mind. Incubating is not for everybody. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in an incubator. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with a broody hen. So just keep that in mind. And I always tell people that start out with what you feel the most comfortable with. Like if you would feel most comfortable just starting with grown birds that are completely mature and laying eggs, do that for you all. If you want the experience of raising chicks and you're not sure if you're quite there yet, maybe get a pullet, finish growing out some hens, and have them that way, and then eventually get chicks later. Because that's the other thing. You should always be replenishing your flock every year or 2 years, because they will slow down laying, even if you do want to keep them and grow and let them live out as pets. If you're looking for them as a food purpose for eggs, you would need to keep replenishing with newer, younger pullets to keep that egg production up. So these are all things to think about with your homestead for what you're looking for your backyard flock. I know people in suburban areas that putting 4 or 5 hens in a small tractor in their backyard and having eggs, which I think is great. So I hope this is helpful for you all. I've had chickens a very long time. I used to ship thousands of eggs. I think the most we shipped in a season was close to 800 dozen around the United States of hatching eggs. So, and I've hatched thousands of chicks. And I think right now, I don't even want to know how many chickens I have. We don't talk about the chicken numbers, okay? But if you guys have any specific questions with each one of those, I would like to do a whole chick raising video if anybody would be interested in that. And there's a lot of different spin-offs that we can go off of this video, but I would love to hear y'all's feedback on that. But I'm going to take these little fluffy butts and put them back under their heat lamp. They're also thinking that they are going to be chicken nuggets in my air fryer if I don't. That's the other thing with juvenile chickens. They think everything is out to make them chicken nuggets. They will get kind of crazy. I was going to say, from when hatched, they're pretty calm. Then they go through the juvenile stage where they get wild, and then they calm down when they get older. So anyways, I'm going to put my chicken nuggets back under their heat lamp. Please hit subscribe underneath, or down here. Down here. But I'm going to go put them away. And I hope you guys found that helpful. I hope that answers a bunch of questions that people had for me on chickens. I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but like I've been doing this a long time with like the breeding programs and stuff. So I hope that, and that's another fun video we could do. We could go about like genetics and like the egg color and stuff, because that's where, that's my bread and butter. So if y'all want to know anything about that stuff, leave us a comment and I will do my best to get a video to y'all answering those questions. So have a great day. I hope you all enjoyed that video. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button so y'all are notified when we do new videos, if you guys enjoyed that. I really think that this is a good video that'll help a lot of beginning chicken tenders, okay? Beginning chicken tenders. But I hope you guys really enjoyed that. If you have any questions related to this video, please put them in the comments. And I'll do my best to try to make like spin-off videos showcasing different questions that people had. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for our next one. I'm really excited to share it, and I think you guys will be too.